So the game started with the Super Falcons working hard to see if they can change things back with the ball into the box. Again, Shemak out with a push out there, and they continue with a push, and Kanu China also tried, and Khadija also came to rescue things up. Second half started already. The Nigerians were looking at the was a red card to Anyinde, and she was a little bit surprised when the card came in because she didn't know what she did. And then there was another ball into the box, and here we got the goal there for the Moroccans and Laundry with that one, and Nigeria got the goal here through Kanu Uchena. And then the Nigerians felt that they were going in. The moment had come there. It was a quality ball delivered by Ajibade into the box there, and then a little bit of a touch there, get to a side post, and it was Uchena Kanu with that one. But the quality of the cross into the box there was amazing. And then they continue there as the Ayani got his ball into the box. Chemaka couldn't deal with it. The move ball to get it down for the Moroccans. The equalizing goal was a lovely piece of counter-attack football there from the Moroccans. They continued from that moment where Ayani and Sudi and Chebak, and it was Jibade with this one. We have confirmed the red card for Jibade. She is off. The tournament is off for her, and the game ended. Went to the extra time already. A lot of opportunity there for the Moroccans trying their best there. Shamaka saving the situation, and these were some moments where the Moroccans felt that Ayani could have given them the second. They kept pushing. They kept pushing. They kept pushing. This was a quality time where we were looking to see how the team was going to happen. And so it ended here with a penalty shootout. And it was missed there by Onomonu. And Khadija staying on with this one. But this is in the final. And you can see the celebration. And Show so excited there to get a team to the final for the very first time.
Sporty greetings. Yeah, I had to throw it back again to WAFCON 2022. And if you followed that competition, you understand why I've called this one another revenge mission. Yes, the Super Falcons, they have done one. They have avenged that loss against Zambia. Now it's the time of Morocco, because so much happened to the Super Falcons at that 2022 WAFCON. It's Nigeria versus Morocco in the final of the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Can the Super Falcons avenge that defeat that happened in 2022? Morocco, that defeat they gave to Nigeria in 2022 made it the first time Morocco will be reaching the final of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. They are getting to the final for a second time. That's one, they lost it to South Africa. Morocco will be coming out with everything that they've got for this final game against Nigeria. Wow, what a story. Mission X. This is the real test for Coach Justin Madugu and his admirable, fantastic, impressive, outstanding side. But for that penalty they conceded against South Africa, the Super Falcons, easy peasy, would have rolled into the final without conceding a goal. That's really fantastic. That's admirable, you know. And that's why when I was putting this together, I was like, what am I coming to say about the Super Falcons, you know, because they've been impressive, they've been fantastic. So this is arguably the biggest test for Mission X, you know. They struggled in their last two group games against Zambia that we all said, oh, it's going to be a very difficult game. How are they going to do it? They made it easy peasy. Destroyed Zambia by 5-0. And then against South Africa, we knew it was going to be a very tactical game. It will be one that would test the discipline in the team. It will be one that will go the distance, and it did. Shout out to the South Africans for giving us a good semi-final match, you know, but football chose Nigeria. I'll try to talk a bit about that when I talk about the route to the final, but just in case you don't know, it's Nigeria versus Morocco for the final of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. It will be played on Saturday in Rabat. I try to envision the crowd that will be at that stadium on Saturday rooting for Morocco. Nigeria versus Morocco. Let's talk about Nigeria's route to the final. Look, we knew it was going to be a battle against South Africa. It's simple. South Africa more or less dethroned Nigeria from, this competition that they've won 9 times. The Super Falcons have 9 titles, and that's why they are chasing the 10th one, and it's a serious, serious mission. So against South Africa, I knew it would be tough. But when I looked at the route to the semifinals, Nigeria were on fire. Against Zambia. The Super Falcons came out, did everything. Look at from this first goal. What a header by Osinachi Ale. And then Esther Okoronkwo doubled the lead for Nigeria before the break. Chinwendu Ezwa said, no, she has to be part of the conversation. Look at this third goal. I love it so much, the way she bust it. By the way, shout out to Chiamaka Nadozie for that long ball. And then Ezwa chased it, muscled her way through, the Zambian defenders, and then she slotted home nice and calm. Game continued, second half. The defenders were like, no, we need to be part of what is going on, and so Tosin, blessing the main, stepped up, another beautiful header to make it 4. Jami Lucy was like, look, the other forward players have scored, what am I doing here? And then she wrapped it up. So it was Nigeria 5, Zambia 0. They left Zambia in the forest. They just left Zambia trying to find their way home. It was a flawless performance that left the Copper Queens clueless, And a shout out to the Copper Queens. They were a team that I actually thought could, do something. But Nigeria had that revenge mission on their minds. And so Zambia stood no chance. The other quarterfinal match for South Africa against Senegal. I watched it, and shout out to the Senegalese team. They actually did push. They made sure that they made South Africa work, And if you look at the possession, 42%, they didn't do badly with holding the ball. I think they had about 3 or 4 shots on target. South Africa had about 5 and none went in. So you could tell that in a way, the Senegalese team contained them, And I like it. When people like, South Africans come and like, we're not trying to support them. I like it. Same way people came for me when I said the Zambian team was admirable. Guys, we need this level of competition for African women's football to grow. That's the point I'm always trying to tell you guys, And I want people to understand this. The entire WAFCON, we've had about 11 editions. Nigeria has 9 titles. South Africa have 1. Equatorial Guinea has got the other 1. We need more. Now Morocco is in the conversation. I liked what Ghana did in the semifinals. I liked what Senegal did with South Africa in the quarterfinals. They can go back and consolidate. That's what we want for women's football. So it can be competitive. And when there's competition, that's where the market will open, and there'll be some business potentials in there for football developments in Africa, talking about the women. Shout out to Senegal. Yeah, South Africa, that game, after regulation time goalless, South Africa won via penalties, and they met Nigeria in the semifinals. You know the story in the semifinals. What a game of football. I've looked at this game over and over and over again. I'm like, this is so good for the development of women's football in Africa, Let me let you see the highlights of it again. I'll come say something about it.
Ajibade hasn't scored in the competition. Can she score her first? She does! Lamini got her fingertip to it, but it wasn't enough. The Super Falcons are off to a flying start in the semi-final. They came close in the opening exchanges, and they've scored right on the brink of half-time. A hammer blow for South Africa. A hammer blow for the defending champions. And a first goal for Ajibade. Lamini punches the turf in fury. Ajibade puts enough on it.
Ithathwa uLinda Muhlalo. Wasehlehla Linda Muhlalo. Wathatha amagxathu nje ambalwa ayemuva wahlehla. Linda Muhlalo Linda Amota. Uyaphakusa inethi. Enhle ipenalty kaLinda Amotlalo. 1-1 iscore. Iyona libonene namhlanje. Ayifuni ugoba uphondo iningizimu Afrika. Ibuya ngenhle ipenalty. Raikun 1-1.
1-1 to Limia. And this is what the defending champions are made of. Linda Motlalo scored the penalty that saw Banyana through in 2022 in that semi-final against Zambia. She's only gone and scored yet another penalty in yet another semi-final. And
Michelle Alusi. Uyaphakamisa Alusi. Analithu! Gemsusu yokugcina. Gemsusu yokugcina. Ilibeka phakathi igoli lesibili iNigeria. Zaphuka inhliziyo zabadlali baseningizimu Afrika zabalandeli. Yahlokoma inkundla. Iyabona iNigeria sekuseduze phambili nali lebhola lika-Alusi. Baliphakamisa. Yazi leliya bhola ukuthi abalithintanga abadlali baseNigeria. Le bhola lizonikezwa uMichelle Alusi. Kuzothiwa igoli likaMichelle Alusi. Awuzachitheka ishebo. Zachitheka sekuphakwa. Lo mdlalo ubesekusele nje amanenjana ukuthi uphele. Igoli likaMichelle Alusi leli lisuka nje le kude.
Wow, what a game of football. What a time to score. Michelle Alozie, you know, I've looked at that goal over and over again. No, she wanted to cross, you know, but somehow the cross, and I'm finding my way into the net. And what a time for that to happen. Arguably the last kick of the game. You know, it was a game of drama. First, Nigeria got a penalty. Rasheedat Ajibade stepped up to it with so much confidence. I think did just enough to score, but shout out to goalkeeper Andile Dlamini. She actually followed it. She touched it, but she just couldn't stop it. Gave Nigeria the lead into the break. Second half, South Africa got their own penalty. And if you notice, I've tried not to mention anything about Osinachi or Hale and her performance on that day, because she has been rock solid for the team. Because I see a lot of people stay with mistakes. These guys are human, you know, guys, and they make mistakes. So she's been fantastic. I just talked about a beautiful header she gave Nigeria against Zambia. She didn't intend to do it, but it happened. South Africa got their penalty and they converted it. Linda Motlano, fantastic penalty. I love that composure. Gave Chiamaka Nnadozie no chance to stop it. South Africa leveled. Coach Desiree Ellis said the injury to Gabriela Salgado impacted the game. Did it? Did it not? I think at the end of the day, the team that deserved to win would have won. No disrespect to South Africa and their performance. If you take a look at the stats, you can see that Banyana did just enough to go all the way to win it. But I think the Super Falcons also had their moments. You know, for instance, the goal line clearance at halftime. I think they had 2 or 3 more chances in second half. So football chose Nigeria to get to the final. Shout out to South Africa. And let me also say this. I love and appreciate the solidarity that football showed to Gabriela Salgado. Guys, that's what we're talking about. The game is fair play. And I saw pictures of the Super Falcons going to see her in the hospital. I'm also happy she had a successful surgery. I liked the things Rasheedat Ajibade talked about, you know, praying for herself and her opponents before she get into the pitch. Because, guys, as I said, when we expect so much from our sports persons, let's not forget that they're humans, you know. So that was really heartwarming. I saw the way everyone rallied around Salgado, and I wish her, the quickest of recovery. That was a really, really good one for African women's football. I love it. The men should actually look into this also and see that it's not win at all costs. Sometimes let's be human first, because that's what we are. So Nigeria won that game, qualified for the final. Let's look at Morocco. It's Nigeria, Morocco in the final. Put that in your head and know that will be some fireworks on Saturday. Morocco stepped up against Ghana Black Queens. Shout out to Ghana. I like everything Ghana did in that match, but then again, football just chose Morocco. I know my Nigerian brothers, you guys would have loved to meet our Chaleb brothers and sisters again, and all of the conversations and banters would have been so good on social media, but it didn't happen for Ghana. They scored first, and then Morocco had to fight, dog. I like the fact that Ghana didn't respect Morocco in that game. They came out to say, look, we are playing for the win. We want to get the win. We want to go to the final. We would have thought that the Ghanaians will come out that impressive. That's what I'm saying, that I like the level of development we've seen with this Women's Africa Cup of Nations. It got to penalties. And you see, penalties a lottery. Coach Ellis said it that they weren't playing for penalties against Nigeria. That's why they kept giving it a go, because with penalties, it can just go anywhere. I'm sure her mind was out of this. You saw the way she ran when South Africa defeated Senegal via penalties, to reach the semis, because it can go anywhere. And when Yeboah stepped up to it, she's so young. She's such a fantastic talent. Good discovery for the Ghana Black Queens, and the penalty was poor, and that's how Morocco, made it to the final, winning that one via penalties. So Morocco will now come to play Nigeria. Should we say the almighty Super Falcons? I mean, if they've won 9 titles, nobody should come for me. They deserve all of their adjectives that are good to describe supremacy. They deserve it, because that's what they've done with women's football in Africa. So this is a big one. Morocco, they're looking for their first WAFCON title. Nigeria seeking a record 10th WAFCON title. That's the whole essence of the Mission X conversation. Final hurdle to cross, Morocco. That is why I started this conversation with WAFCON 2022, the semi-final between Nigeria and Morocco. Things just went south for Nigeria on that day. Alimatu Ayinde got a red card. Rashida Dajibade got a red card. And Nigeria lost it via penalties 5-4. Morocco did just enough to win that game. The fans came out. They were shouting. Did you see when they got the equalizer? Did you listen to the roar from the stadium? They almost pulled it down. You see, and that is what I like, that was women's football, and we could see that level of support, followership. It's beautiful. But Confederation of Africa Football, that last time, those lasers that were pointed at Chiamaka Nadozie, it wasn't good for African football. We see it a lot with North African footballs, particularly in the CAF Champions League and CAF Confederation Cup. Let it not happen in the final. CAF, please look into it. It's terrible antics. It's not sportsmanly. It destroys the essence of fair play. Fans shouldn't be allowed to take lasers into that stadium to distract the goalkeeper. No, that's really wrong, because it happened so much in that semi-final game in 2022. So Morocco, I know that stadium in Rabat will be packed. I saw the quarterfinal game, and I was like, wow. In fact, from the group stage, I think the last group game, I was like, these guys, they love their football. The stadium was packed against Nigeria. It will be super packed. They will come out to support. And that is why I said this is the biggest test for Coach Justin Madugu, the Super Falcons, and this Mission X campaign. Win this 10th title in style. If they beat Morocco, now that what just give them their crowning glory and say, look, nobody comes close, because we know how this team started, how they stayed focused. They've shown resilience. They've shown commitment, determination, discipline. I so much love the Super Falcons, and I want to give them all their flowers today. But shout out to Morocco for bringing in the competition. It's also good for the development of women's football in Africa. Man, I cannot wait. Where do you think this one will go? Will Morocco do just enough to win their first WAFCON title with their second appearance in the final, or the Super Falcons come out and win a record 10th WAFCON title in style and put Mission X on a global conversation. I want you to talk about it with me. I want us to see where this will take us. Mission X. Is this the real test? I'll see you around again. That's it.